communication to our next speaker, Nelli Orlova. She is to talk about venture capital investments in blockchain and NFT startups. Nelli, are you here with us? Yes, good day. Can you hear me? Yes, we hear you very well.
And my name is Nelli Orlova. I'm the founder and CEO at InMind, which is the leading deal origination platform for venture capital and tech startups in Europe. And I will tell you a little bit more about InMind later on, but the topic of my presentation is actually the state of the venture capital investments in the NFT and blockchain sector. I guess I have the rights to share the screen right now. Give me a sec. Here you are. Yep. Do you see my screen?
Да, все видно.
Okay. So, but before going into the details and into the real insights on the venture capital deals and the venture capitalists' view on the NFT sector, let me give you a brief overview of the market in general. It will be not a visionary presentation and maybe not that is inspiring for entrepreneurs who look at the future, but it will be more from the investment perspective. When I chatted with organizers just before this event and asked what kind of audience will be attending, they mentioned that there will be a lot of market professionals, both from the startups field, from the corporates, museums, other interested stakeholders, but also a lot of newbies in the sector who have a lot of curiosity about NFT and blockchain in general, but who do not know all the details. So here on the screen, you see quite famous, at least all the market professionals, I guess, remember this chart published in Forbes in the beginning of this year, when they analyzed what's going on the NFT sector and forecasted that probably this year, 2021, we will have enormous growth in the NFT. They expected more than 1,700% growth for 2021. And as you can see, it's the data of March this year. So now we are in October, and I can tell you that the reality really exceeded the forecasts. So we observe 50 times growth in the NFT sector in comparison with 2020. 50 times. Right now, NFT market is estimated to be around $15 billion worth. It's the market capitalization, which stated by different resources. And just to compare, a year ago, it was around 300 million. Also not that small, yeah, but just for newbies, again, to understand some comparison. The estimated global market of the artificial intelligence sector is around 30 billion. So just double as we have it in NFT. Considering that NFT market is quite young one. And first NFTs, I think, appeared like in 2017, 2018, so 3 years ago. And already right now, the market is 15 billion. In comparison, artificial intelligence is 30 billion. I think that's quite impressive numbers for you to understand why do venture capitalists are interested at all in this.
Или проверьте, пожалуйста, презентация идет у вас или нет, потому что мы первый слайд видим.
У меня
Nelli,
идет.
could you please check your presentation, whether it's running or not, because we're still seeing the first slide.
I don't know if...
В порядке.
Okay, so if you missed the previous slides, here there. I will send the presentation to the organizers, so everyone interested to get it for download can ask organizers of this event. And maybe the last factors I want to share with you from the general markets overview. So the NFT market right now with 15 billion, it's just a small part of the global DeFi market, which is estimated to be around 200 billion by the end of this year. And when I myself was guessing how many people worldwide are involved in the sector of crypto and tokenization and all this stuff, I was thinking that maybe hundreds of thousands of people. We know that we didn't reach mass adoption yet, but I was fascinated to learn that due to the recent research by Crypto.com in this example, we have more than 200 million people worldwide who are involved in the sector, who are holding different tokens of different projects, who are using the stable tokens, who are playing the NFT games, etc., etc. 200 million, and it doubled within just several months. So I hope that all this data really helps you to understand what is the real potential of this market. And this also helps you to understand why these big players joined this year the NFT sector. So some of them you see on the left side: SoftBank, Google Ventures, Singapore's Sovereign Fund, Anderson Horowitz, Y Combinator, Samsung Next, and I can continue this list. It's really a lot of big institutional money are right now investing in the NFT sector. On the right side of this slide, you see the logos of blockchain-centric venture companies. These are professional VCs that are investing in blockchain NFT startups for years already. And we work with many of them, and the speed of investments and the activity of the deal flow in this sector is uncomparable with traditional sector, I can tell you. And we will go a bit more into details on other slides. But both these blockchain-centric VCs and big institutional VCs from the so-called traditional sectors, all of them right now have in their investment thesis the strong focus on the NFT sector, because it opens enormous opportunities in the next few years for venture capital professionals who want to gain not only high returns from this market, but also who want to see new technologies disrupting the sector. Here is the table with the overview of top venture capital deals on the NFT market. And to be honest, this table is outdated already. For example, OpenSea, which is a very big and well-known NFT marketplace, it already hit it, I think, 180 million in VC funding via 8 venture capital rounds. But this table gives you at least some understanding of the numbers and on the big deals on this market. The valuations of the NFT marketplaces grow enormously. And unfortunately, the market is still very immature in a way. It's very young, and there is not much statistical data in comparison with, for example, the same artificial intelligence or drone industry or healthcare and medtech, etc., etc. But still, the estimations say that around 30 billion of venture capital funding was invested in NFT startups only during the first 3 quarters of 2021, this year. And this is really a huge number. Around 6 billion out of this was invested in NFT gaming sector. When people ask why do we see such an enormous growth on the market, there are different opinions and different reasons, a lot of really. The market needs the opportunity for developing countries and for a lot of people to get returns out of participating in different NFT projects. A lot of reasons, but one of the factors that definitely influenced the interest to the NFT sector was COVID-19 pandemic. Since it started, not only professional players joined this market, but also a lot of celebrities. You know, maybe yourself that Snoop Dogg, Beyonce, a lot of Hollywood stars, they are investing in the NFTs, and they have their profiles also in OpenSea or other marketplaces. They sell their NFTs and they use those platforms. So in mind is technology agnostic. And the main goal of the platform and our ecosystem is to connect disrupting entrepreneurs with startups with high potential with venture capital investors. So it opens the door and connects the dots between these two stakeholders, helping and facilitating deal closure between tech startups and relevant VCs. We are the leading player on the European market, but not only Europe is covered by InMind activities. We have a lot of deal flow in India. We have UK, Canada, Singapore. This year we got a lot of traction on Asian market as well, with Asian VCs and Asian startups. I hope that very soon we will become not the #1 European deal origination platform, but #1 in the world. And right now InMind, in one time, it gathers together over 50,000 of tech startups and over 1,000 of venture capital professionals. And in general, it will be maybe very primitive selection, but in general, we structure our deal flow activities in two main sectors. One is, let's say so, traditional sector. When we speak about equity deals in traditional software, hardware startups. And another deal flow stream is so-called tokenized deals. These refers to blockchain and NFT startups in our platform. Since the beginning of pandemic, it was also an interesting learning curve for us. Previously, we had a lot of offline activities to connect startups with investors, like local meetups, etc. But since the beginning of pandemic, we, as many other players on the market too, we had to move everything online and started doing so-called online pitching sessions, where selected tech startups gathered together in Zoom with interested VCs, pitch to venture capital VCs directly, get feedback, answer questions, and get funded. And since the beginning of 2021, we also started separate monthly so-called blockchain and NFT pitching sessions, where we select promising NFT and blockchain startups, invite top-tier VC funds that are interested in this deal flow, and organize these Zoom sessions. And I can be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that we are the first ones who do it also publicly with live streaming, when the startups pitch to VCs on their private rounds, and when the newcomers and early stage entrepreneurs can also learn, watching the recording of these pitches or live streams in YouTube, they can learn how to pitch to VCs, how to approach them, and what factors, what aspects are the most interesting for venture capitalists. And during the last 9 months, there were more than 50 VCs participating in these pitching sessions, and over 700 startups applied to it. I mean, only the NFT and blockchain deal flow, not the overall on the platform. And we facilitated more than 430 deals with estimated worth of 47 million. So this is the quote of one of the very active VC funds and quite well known in this sector, Moonrock Capital, that are investing in NFT startups intensively. They are closing like tens of deals every month. And they're also collaborating very closely with Internationl, and they've invested in many startups in our platform. So in general, the average round size, and this is the data from the last 9 months. The average VC round size for NFT startups is around $1.5 million, with considering the average ticket size of 150, something like that. It's important also to say that in the blockchain and NFT deal flow, when it comes to the tokenized investments, not equity investments, the ticket size really varies. So when I say average ticket size, it can mean that, for example, big players like Moonrock, they can invest $500,000, and small, well, not small, but other VCs with different investment theses, they can invest ticket sizes of around 50K. And even as little as $30K per deal. Speaking about verticals or priorities that investors, professional venture capital investors have in the NFT sector. So just to explain you that in comparison with so-called retail players, people like you, me, others, who are more about buying particular NFT objects or participating in the airdrops or something like that, the professional VCs have absolutely different approach and different understanding. And recently, what we've seen so far, so if the beginning of the year was of different projects in the NFT sector grows like crazy. There are thousands of new startups that appear every month. Majority of them are various NFT applications. Again, marketplaces, different platforms for influencers, various gaming projects utilizing NFT for as gaming objects and assets, etc., etc. But the infrastructure is not yet there. It's not enough to satisfy the growing demand of this sector. That is why the infrastructure projects, I think right now they are on the first priority among VCs. Of course, niche NFT marketplaces, what does it mean? For example, marketplaces for luxury NFT objects, or for example, marketplaces that sell only digital to physical art objects. And that can be also, by the way, interesting for the museum sector, and so on and so forth. So NFT marketplaces that turn from the general target into some very, very specific sectors or segments that can satisfy the demand of the particular audience or particular industry sector. And of course, NFT gaming with play to earn concept, it also remains on a big hype in this industry. It is still as a priority to many venture capitalists. And one more, maybe fourth fourth vertical, if I can say so, which is missing here, is our B2B NFT solutions. So anything related, for example, to NFT products that are sold by businesses to businesses and enterprises. For example, it can be implementation of NFT in the insurance sector, implementation of NFT technology in the copyright sector, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so elaborating a little bit more on the core difference. So when I explained you how we structure the deal flow verticals or streams, what is actually the difference for investors and for startups when we speak about equity investments or when we speak about venture capital investments in tokens? There are some highlights here on the slide, as you can see. And I think one of the most relevant is not only our data, but also the general data from the market proves that the time by the closure of equity deal, the average time, it can take from 9 to 11 months. And when the pandemic started, first it prolonged, but right now it kind of came back to normal. But minimum, the super minimum you can expect is at least half a year until the beginning of negotiation with investors till to the deal closure. In the tokens fundraise field, maximum, well, not maximum, okay, average time is 2 to 3 months. So since the project starts negotiating to investors until they close deals with these investors and get funded. In many cases, we see even faster results. And I think other speakers, guys in this conference, they will prove that sometimes you can close the deal within a week or even a few days. And that's not because venture capital investors in the NFT sector are like-minded or whatever. That's just because the dynamic of this market is uncomparable with the dynamic in the equity market. Plus tokens, when investors invest in tokens on the private round, they are much more liquid assets. So the decision-making is based absolutely differently. For example, when you make an equity investment, you mostly analyze not only product, project, team, traction, competitive landscape, etc., but you also have to do an intense due diligence on the legal side, on the regulatory side, on the legal and financial setup, and so on and so forth. You need to analyze also go-to-market strategy quite precisely, cap table, etc. But when you speak about tokenized investments, many of these questions, they are either not that relevant, of course, if the project doesn't violate the existing regulations in the tokenized sector, or not that important because it is not yet that regulated sector in many countries, and you can simply, from the venture capital perspective, you can skip some of the parts of the due diligence. I think I already showed this slide previously, and a couple of good NFT startups to look at. So from in mind deal flow, recently, just speaking about NFT startups that recently closed deals, not the first rounds, but probably A rounds on in mind, I want to let's say underline these companies that are on this slide. For example, Envelope, and Alex Shidagubov, he was presenting previously their technology. It is a multi-chain protocol that enables creation of the inner value of the NFTs. This is the typical example of the high demanded infrastructure project that will satisfy the needs of a lot of existing and new players on the market. And therefore, Envelope, they closed a lot of deals with VCs on in mind, and very soon they will go public with their offering. I'm super happy for them. Or, for example, Caps Coin, which is the example of the NFT gaming startup, building the metaverse for metaverses and using NFT technology to create the smart gaming asset inside their metaverse. This gaming asset can evolve its value, can grow, can be exchanged between different games and so on and so forth. This is a fundamentally new concept towards approaching the NFT gaming sector. And I'm sure that they also have a huge market potential. So what else is remaining to say? We didn't have enough time to go into all the details. I can tell a lot about the investors' decision making and what factors are the most important for them. What red flags do they consider while evaluating the opportunities in the NFT sector? About specifics of the venture capital investors on this market, because it also differs a lot. And you know, a lot of you maybe heard about so-called scammy startups, but that's not yet that popular to speak about scam investors who don't deliver, who violate their relationship with the startups, who behave unethically, etc., etc. But this all deserves the separate, you know, part of the conference dedicated to the discussions about venture capital market. This presentation was aiming to give you a high-level overview of the market potential, the high-level overview of what is interesting for VCs, what is why they are investing right now in the NFT sector, and why not only so-called the crypto venture capitalists, not only those blockchain-centric VC funds, but also huge institutional money are coming to this sector. And I hope right now it became a little bit clearer for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and if there are any NFT entrepreneurs that are planning to build their startups, watching this conference, attending this conference. I inspire you to come to us, present your projects to our VCs, and get funded.
Спасибо, Нелли. Очень интересно, вы правы.
Thank you, Nelly. You are absolutely right that it's worth a separate conference, and it's a brief introduction why NFT field is attractive for investors, what can cause the interest, and we tried to look at the interests for us as a governmental cultural institution. I could hear myself. Okay, nevertheless, so we can't do without investments, and in online chat, so we can see the comments in our online chat, and of course all the stakeholders will find your details and contacts, and I think it makes sense both to museums when they go into this legal field in terms of using blockchain technologies and NFT creation, as well to use your experience, consultations, and recommendations to capitalize their assets, capitalize assets. So which way? So, okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And well, I'm not that I'm afraid I don't have enough expertise in the field of museums. I attend them not very often and never worked in this sector myself. But I guess that one of the problems faced by organizations that work in cultural sector is access to funding, access to financials, yeah, because usually they are kind of sponsored by governments, and also maybe earn something from selling tickets to the museums, etc., etc. And I believe that if the museums start being more open-minded in utilizing the new technologies like NFT, that can really be a game-changing thing in understanding on how to finance these kind of objects and these kind of organizations, because just a simple example, yeah, what you can do with the NFT sector. One of the startups that will be very, very soon launching their public round, Wise Art. It is the new niche focused NFT platform that is focused on luxury segment of NFTs, digital to digital. They were selling, making auctions on, for example, Kobe Bryant, you know, this very popular basketball player, his watches and his shoes and something like that. And this object, I think, was bought for more than 1,200,000 euros just a couple of days ago. What I mean here is that if you start also selling the NFTs of the art pieces, maybe not very well known like Mona Lisa or whatever, but even younger artists, creators who are not yet that popular on the market, that can give the new fresh air, the new blood to all this sector.
Спасибо.
Thank you. Thank you. We will discuss it in more detail tomorrow in the blog NFT Art. Thank you, Nelli.